Welcome to the Parkinson's Disease Education Show, where we demystify the disease and empower you as the person with Parkinson's disease to reach your true potential. The content contained on this show is for informational purposes only and is not meant to be a replacement for information or advice that you receive from your in-person medical or therapy professionals. If you haven't already, I hope you'll consider subscribing, and for an even more personalized experience, please ask us about our memberships. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. Dr. Michael here for What's Next Wednesday. It's that time again, and I apologize for my, I won't call it a hiatus because it was temporary, but I haven't been live for this particular live stream since early August, so it's been a minute. But for those of you that are new, welcome to the channel, and to if you're watching on Facebook, welcome. This is a live stream I do. I try to do at least a couple times a month. It's been once a month lately, where we talk about upcoming content that we're going to cover here on, as far as social media, particularly YouTube, regarding Parkinson's disease and new and upcoming information. Or it could be old information that you haven't heard about yet. So, sorry, I'm just sharing this to a couple places as we speak here. But for those of you who are watching live, don't be shy. Be sure to say hi. If you're watching this, please like and share this video if you think it would be beneficial to anybody else that you know. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Ambroxol and Parkinson's disease, and I wanted to let you know that that's going to be the upcoming topic of the upcoming episode on the podcast and the YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with Ambroxol, you may not have heard of that, especially if you're in the United States. It is basically a cold medicine or cough medicine, and it's commonly used in Europe, particularly the UK. And one of the interesting discoveries, and they're researching this now, in fact, they just started phase 3 of a trial in the UK as of April of this year, talking about or looking into the benefits of Ambroxol to reduce alpha-synuclein aggregation in persons with Parkinson's disease. Now, if you're not familiar with alpha-synuclein, which you may not be, I'm not going to assume that you are, it's an abnormal protein, or rather it's a normal protein that is found in single units normally in the brain. But in Parkinson's disease, it's been discovered that alpha-synuclein is abnormally accumulates or aggregates in the brain cells, and in turn throughout the nervous system. So you'll even find alpha-synuclein in the nerves at the skin, for example, after a certain point, or in the gut. They've discovered it in the vagus nerve that leads from the brain to the gut. That's the 10th cranial nerve. So it's a very important topic. Alpha-synuclein aggregation is the reason we have a lot of the symptoms, particularly with things like Lewy bodies that can develop later. Those can accumulate in the brain, and you get what's called Lewy body dementia. That can be a primary diagnosis, but with Parkinson's, it's considered what's called Parkinson's with Lewy bodies, and it can be devastating over time. And alpha-synuclein tends to result in the problems that we have with in Parkinson's, with peripheral neuropathy that can develop, nerve signal issues everywhere, gut problems, everything you can think of almost can be linked to it. But Ambroxol is thought to be a possible solution to that aggregation, and maybe even ability to reduce or eliminate the alpha-synuclein, the buildup of it from the cells. It's a pretty revolutionary idea, and if a simple cold medicine can do that, it could really be pretty amazing, because it would be essentially readily available, and it's easily accessible and not overly expensive either. It's because it's not, if it was truly that effective in fighting it, think about it. I mean, if you could get it off of a shelf in a drugstore versus a prescription from Big Pharma, not that the pharmacy company isn't making it, but that would be incredible, right? I don't think this is a drug available outside of Europe at this point, but could it be replicated? I'm sure it could, chemically. So we'll see where the trial how that trial bears out. As I said, it just started in April of this year, and yeah, who knows what the results are going to be. But the fact that it's phase 3, I hope this may not be the case, but I hope that the fact that it's phase 3 at least shows that there's a possibility there could be something to it. Otherwise, I wouldn't think they'd keep pursuing research behind it. But yeah, if any of you, I'd like to kind of hear back from you in the comments section if you've heard of this before. Tarot Destroyer says nicotine lessens the symptoms of the shaking palsy. Nicotine can actually be beneficial particularly for the non-motor symptoms of Parkinson's, or it could reduce tremor somewhat. Kind of the stress-related symptoms that tend to be magnified by stress. It's possible that nicotine can help with that. Nicotine has some anti-inflammatory properties. But I will say this: nicotine doesn't always have a positive outcome, and it doesn't always have a positive response with everybody with Parkinson's. So I'm not going to universally agree that it can lessen the symptoms of Parkinson's. Could it in some folks it causes nausea and other side effects. So just tread lightly with that. You can get nicotine through gums. You don't have to like smoke or anything. And patches, of course, but there's variability in how much is recommended that people take. I did a video on that recently, the last couple of months, so check that out if you haven't seen it. And it's just my 2 cents. It's not. It isn't. It's not just to claim or deny that it will or will not help. But it can help a lot of people, and I've seen anecdotal evidence that it can help. So, but as far as research goes, I don't know that there's a whole lot to back that up. And allopathism is the third leading cause of. I'm not going to be negative about allopathic medicine. It's allopathic, osteopathic. Doctors want to help people. They're not in this to be greedy and make money off of people. I mean, truly, I would rather see drug companies be under the gun than physicians themselves. But I do believe that the allopathic physicians, they probably don't have quite as holistic of an approach in a lot of cases. And I don't know why you're asking me how many mRNA shots have I given. I don't administer vaccines because I'm not a physician. So, listen, this isn't about debating whether medicine is the way it should be or not. This is about Ambroxol and Parkinson's. And my channel and my podcast is not to debate medical science or to say, or to demonize or to praise one group or another. I have come out in some places and had some criticism for Western medicine and the way things are approached with Parkinson's and other conditions, but that's not, negativity is not something I really appreciate or want to contribute to. So that's not the message here. The message is positivity. There's hope for potential in this treatment I'm talking about in this next video that's coming up. So anyway, I appreciate your comments, but I'm not going to get into debates on that right now. Like I said, I don't administer anything because I'm not a physician, so I don't administer drugs or shots for that matter. Yeah, well, that's about it on Ambroxol. If you care to come for this, the premiere of that should be ready for premiere this weekend, Saturday, 9 a.m. And that's the goal anyway. I still have to record that and get all the editing done, but I will plan on having that up first thing as early as I can this weekend. So, and it'll follow audio format at some point later. Appreciate you watching and for your comments. And look forward to seeing you in the premiere this weekend. Be empowered. Have a great afternoon or morning, wherever you are watching from.